What's going on, guys? Man, what the heck? What's going on, guys? Welcome to the vlog. Today, we're gonna go ahead and go through my entire meal prep, and I'm gonna do the best that I can to show you exactly what I do to portion out my foods, what I do to make sure I'm getting the best out of my foods, and just overall, just, have an awesome meal prep. You want it to look good, you want it to taste good, you want it to last you a few days. So let's get started. And Amara's here to hang out with us today. Hey, Amara. All right, what are we doing? Let's get rolling. All right, so first off, you want to make sure you have the ingredients that you want. I guess to kind of like start things out, I should kind of talk a little bit more about foods in general. So over here I have my protein, which is going to be my 99% fat-free ground turkey breast. So that it's you can usually buy these at like a Smith's or a Ralph's if you have one of those. I found it at Winco as well. So you should be able to find these at most like healthy grocery stores. And then I'm gonna use a little bit of vegetables with some onions here. I got a red onion and I got some garlic. For carbs, if I'm doing a high carb day, let me see here. What I like to do personally, I get some jasmine rice. Jasmine rice is pretty easy because you can really easily convert this from cups to carbs, essentially. And so that's kind of what I use there. So I guess it's kind of like step one is just make sure that you're prepared. Get all the foods that you want to cook and then just make sure you know what you're using in your foods. I guess a prelude to step one would be kind of knowing what macronutrients you want to go for. So if you haven't done that yet, make sure you go check out my macronutrient video on how to calculate your macros and know how many macros you need for each meal. And I'll go ahead and link that in the description for you guys. I'd say the biggest thing for people that are just starting out, and let me get into frame here. So the biggest thing that people struggle with meal prep is kind of like you don't really know how many grams of protein are in this entire thing right here. You don't really know that. It'll tell you right here that it has 16 ounces of turkey. So I know I have about 1 pound of turkey, but how does that convert to grams, And so first things first, just don't worry too much about that. When you start out, just know your macros and then go ahead and buy some healthy options and just make sure that you're getting really good proteins, you're getting some veggies in there, you're getting a good carb. And then if your program also has some fats, you can get a healthy fat like almond butter or avocado. So obviously we have all of our food right here, and the kind of goal of meal prep is to make sure that you have basically a ton of food so you don't have to cook during the week. And from my point of view, I think that food should be healthy. I mean, you could always meal prep pizza. It's still meal prep, you just gotta, I guess, meal prep it. But I mean, this is gonna be kind of creating a meal prep that is according to my macros. So this is gonna be meal prep according to macros. So let's get right back into there. Let me go ahead and show you guys a couple of items that you are going to need if you're gonna do a macro planned meal prep. All right, so these aren't sponsored. This one might be sponsored, we'll find out. But this right here is just a Tupperware. You can use any kind of Tupperware you like. I actually got these ones on Amazon. Hey, Amara. So this one is actually called a Fit Packer. I don't know if you can see that super well. I'm gonna go ahead and put the link in the description so that you can get yourself your own Fit Packer and try that out. This one right over here is gonna be a KitchenAid. This is a food scale. And this is really important because this is gonna be kind of like your converter, So you're gonna figure out how many grams of this turkey is actually gonna convert into grams of protein, essentially, or how many ounces of turkey is gonna convert to protein. So this is gonna help out measure your food. I think, I guess it's like kind of like a final thing you'd need is just like some measuring cups. I use these to measure my rice. So I just use this to scoop it out, level it out, and I just toss it in there. So I'll scoop out my rice, toss it right in here. Or if you have avocado, a tablespoon of avocado, you just kind of scoop it in, toss it out just like that, or you can kind of cut it and the same thing, figure out how many grams of avocado equals how many fats. So it's gonna be a little bit of research on your part. What did she just do? I don't know. Okay, so let's get back to this. The next tip I'm gonna give to you guys when you're doing meal prep is to always make sure that you weigh your food after it's cooked. So even though this is 16 ounces, 1 pound of food right here, the sucky thing about this, and I say sucky, is that because they sell meat by the pound essentially. The sad thing is that when you cook it, after it's cooked, it's probably going to be around 14 or 15 ounces because it loses some of the moisture that's inside of it. So you're going to be ending up with a little bit less. That's why it's really important that you measure your food after it's cooked, unless specified, like, I don't know if I measure something before it's cooked. I don't think so. Well, as a general rule of thumb, let's go ahead and just measure everything after it's cooked, because that's what's really going to help you out. So from here, honestly, now all we have to do is just cook our food, measure it out, and put it in this fit packer over here, which isn't too hard. So let's get started.
Trying to climb, think I've heard it before in a movie line. We can ride.
Okay, so the next tip that I have for you guys on doing your meal prep is condimenting your food. So what I'd suggest is always cook with vegetables, because when you're making your food, you don't want to use too much sauces and like high calorie, basically condiments. You know, you don't want to have any ketchup or I don't know, teriyaki sauce. That's too high in calorie. Barbecue sauce is huge, has a lot of calories in there. So really a lot of people get a lot of their calories from the sauce alone. And that's what really makes food good, especially meats. So I like to use vegetables to kind of flavor my food. Onions are really good. I put a little bit of garlic in there as well. But you can really use whatever you want. Bell peppers are amazing to flavor your food. Just make sure you don't go too crazy on those. And that way, I don't know. That way you make sure that you're not getting too many calories from the flavoring from the vegetables either. So I like to use just a little bit of onion and garlic, and then I'm gonna go ahead and condiment with some salt here. And then I'm using this pink Himalayan salt, and then I like to use this black and white peppercorn grinder. Personally, I like to use these because they have like the fun little twisty aspect to it, which is a lot of fun. And so the way to kind of take out the flavor from this is when you cook it, you want to make sure you just toss this into the pan and get and you kind of just fry it really good on both sides. You know, just get it really good. So I'm gonna find my pan here. So here I got my pan. It's a little dirty on the side there. So what I'm gonna do here is I like to take a non-cook spray. So I'll use a 0-calorie cooking spray like Pam. There's a ton of them. You don't want to use too much. Go ahead and just spray your pan very lightly. You don't want to do too much of that either, okay? And then I'm gonna let this pan heat up. So making sure that I get this on a hot pan is really critical, because I don't want this to kind of like warm up, because that'll kind of retain the juices. What I want it to do is I want it to hit the pan like real hard, you know, get it there, and I want to hear that noise like right when it hits the pan. And that's gonna help the juices kind of get the flavor, just expand a lot more and just kind of really release out. And then once that's done, I'm just gonna go ahead and this is already ground up turkey, so I'm just gonna go ahead and toss that in there and just mix it in. And then I'm gonna show you one more thing that I use. So these right here are actually like some of my favorite sauces. So here I have Walden Farms barbecue sauce. This is actually I don't think you can read that from there, but this is actually a 0-calorie sauce. So you can go ahead and use this. But like I said, don't use too much. I'd say 1 or 2 tablespoons is fine. This is called Seal Saba Teriyaki Sugar Free. I actually love this one a lot. This is one of my favorites. It does have 5 calories per serving, but one serving is 1 tablespoon. So an entire bottle of these, if you do 5 times 24, you're gonna get about 120 calories in this entire bottle, which really isn't that bad. So you can go ahead and drizzle this on there as well. I like to put about half a tablespoon while I'm cooking it, just so it kind of can seep in that flavor, and then another half a tablespoon afterwards, just to kind of make sure that that flavor is still there after I'm done cooking it. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cook all this food up, and then we'll meet you guys afterwards so I can go ahead and just cook it up and make sure that we can measure it out. And that's gonna basically the hard part for you guys, so catch you guys later. Okay, so here we have the finished turkey. What I did, just a little trick. So if the cooking spray doesn't last, you know, and you start to hear your turkey burning, I like to put just maybe a quarter cup of water, just so that it keeps the turkey from burning and also keeps your vegetables pretty fresh. That's pretty nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this right here, move this over, and I'm gonna bring out our KitchenAid right over there. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and just turn this on. Now the nice thing about food scales, you can go ahead and place your container right on it and then click zero it out. Now for my personal meal prep, I need 8 ounces, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead, just toss in 8 ounces of meat there. Almost there, boom. There it is. Okay, so this is gonna be 8 ounces. And then I also want to make sure that I get a good serving of veggies. So I personally like to use zoodles. So I'll just toss in some zoodles, just like that. And for this meal, this is just a protein meal with a little bit of zoodles. It's not gonna have any fats or carbs in it. But if I were to put some fats and carbs in it, I'd go ahead and just use my cup to scoop out maybe a cup of rice or a half cup of rice, of that jasmine rice that I use, toss that on there. I might use, like I said, the tablespoon to kind of get a scoop of almond butter, or weigh out some avocados on top of that too. But the important thing is that you weigh everything you do, and that's why I said the food scale is critical, because if you don't weigh what you're eating, you don't really know what you're putting in your body. And this is where you can use your millennial smarts, really, and just go on Google and Google search it. Like, the first couple weeks just sucks, because you gotta really like understand how many grams are in protein or whatever, how many ounces of turkeys and grams of protein. But once you figure that all out, you kind of start getting a good sense for it, and you can honestly start eyeballing it. It takes about a month or 2 to get used to it, to be honest. That's how long it took me. But basically you do this, finish it up, and that's one. You go ahead and repeat the process, however many boxes of food you want, and then just toss it in the fridge, and it's still good. Just for sake of the video, I'm gonna go ahead and make myself a little teriyaki bowl here. So I'm gonna use the remainder of this, measure that out for me. There we go. There it is. Okay, so here I actually got 7.5 ounces, which means I'm still missing half an ounce, but no worries, I'm gonna go ahead and add half an ounce of another meal prep that I made a little bit earlier so I can reach my 8 ounces. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just grab the rest of my zoodles. And just toss them on top like that. Ooh, that looks real nice, look at that. So a real pretty presentation. And then like I said, what I like to do when I'm about to eat it, I'll go ahead and take another about half tablespoon, and let's go ahead and measure that out. Okay. So I got this right here. There we go. Put that on, just drizzle that across. And this is actually a quarter tablespoon, so I'm gonna do 2 of these. There it is, drizzle that across. Just wanna make sure I get all the flavor out, okay? And make sure that's good. All right, and there it is. that right there, let me go ahead and make this look all nice and fancy for you guys. That right there is my meal prep. And I'll be honest with you, this is actually really tasty meal prep. Like, I highly enjoy it. It's one of my favorite things to make. If you want to make it, I also have a video where I make this and another one, and I include the recipes in the description, so I'll go ahead and show you guys the recipes for that. But with that said, that's it. That's pretty much meal prep. I know I only made 2 servings here, but like I said, you just go ahead and repeat that process. Here I'm only using 1 pan. If you want to, you can use 2 pans. If you're really, really bored and don't want to cook over and over and over again and spend 4 hours doing it, then you even have options of using like a crock pot. But let's put this back over here. Okay. Honestly, it just kind of depends on, I'm bringing this up. Okay, honestly, it just kind of depends on, you know, what your preference is. Like right now, since I'm eating the 99% lean turkey, like this is the best option that I have. If I was doing chicken tends to hold water a little bit better than turkey does. So I can go ahead and take my chicken breast, cook it with a cast iron and sear both sides, and then use my teriyaki sauce to drizzle over it. And then I go ahead and toss it in the oven, and that helps retain the moisture really, really, really well. That's like one of my favorite recipes to do. And then you're cooking like 5 or 6 chicken breasts at a time, which is like super good for you. And then go ahead and condiment it a little bit with some salt, pepper, whatever you want, you know, garlic or pepper, lemon, salt. If you're making salmon, you know, toss in some lemon slices and rosemary in there. Really, it's up to you how creative you want to be with it. But the gist of it is to make sure that you're measuring everything. I can't stress that enough for you guys. So let's go ahead and go through the entire process again. Step 1, decide what you want to eat. So go to the store and buy whatever you believe is to be healthy. And the reason why I say believe is because I think that you should be able to meal prep the foods that you love to do unless you're on prep. Okay. And then go ahead and get the foods out, you know, go on and cook them, get your food scale, measure the food, go ahead and check like how many ounces of food you're gonna use and convert that to grams of proteins, fats, and carbs. Make sure if you wanna follow your macro plan, go ahead and do that. See if it fits, you know. After you're done doing that, then yeah, you just start measuring out your proportioned meals. Make as many as you want, toss it in the fridge, and there you go. You have meal prep for like 3 or 4 days. So I hope that helped. I know that it's a long process, and that's why a lot of people don't do it. But honestly, if you don't feel that you want to include the macro aspect of it, that's totally fine. But the part of like measuring out your foods and making sure that you're getting to a certain amount of calories a day at least, I think is important, which is why getting the food scale is key to doing all of this. Yeah, if you do need help with the macros though, go ahead and just shoot me a DM and I'll go ahead and help you out and see what we can do there. I also do like macronutrient coaching, so I can teach you how to do your own macros and also teach you how to make sure you're doing that. But make sure you let me know what you guys need, and let me know if you have any other tips or recipes that you want to include. Leave that down in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll catch you guys next time. Oh, that's all we're gonna do today. That's it for the vlog. You guys have a good one. Deuces.
I can feel my body cold against the concrete, but I can't seem to get enough.